Hi, I'm Reverend Richard Miner. I'd like to welcome you to the United Palace of Spiritual Arts in New York City. We're at 175th Street and Broadway in beautiful Washington Heights. We are the home of spiritual artistry. Today, I have the great pleasure and privilege of welcoming Deepak Chopra to the Palace. Dr. Chopra is a world-renowned expert in the field of mind-body healing. He is also a celebrated author and speaker. He's written over 80 books that have been translated into 43 languages with 25 New York Times bestsellers. He's also a board-certified physician in internal medicine, endocrinology, and metabolism. He's the co-founder of the Chopra Wellness Institute and the founder of the Chopra Foundation. Dr. Chopra, thank you so much for joining me. It is really a pleasure to have you here today.
It's an honor to be here.
I just finished your book. I found it not only interesting and fascinating, but truly inspirational.
Thank you.
I wanted to find out, what do you mean by the term metahuman exactly?
Meta means beyond, and human is this incarnation. And so the book is going beyond ordinary, regular, everyday human behavior to the source of all knowing and thinking. Normal behavior, so-called normal behavior, has created an insane world.
Who do you think should read this book today?
I think anyone who wants to be the change they want to see in the world should read this book, because that's all we can do. You can't fight darkness. You can only bring in the light.
That's a beautiful thought. Why did you write this book now?
Well, first of all, the book is a natural progression of my work, which started with mind-body medicine, integrative health and well-being, understanding the nature of consciousness. But I think the obvious step was, what is fundamental reality? What is meta-reality? And how do we access it through becoming metahumans?
What do you think is the full potential for personal transformation using this idea?
The full potential is infinite. We, at the core of our existence, are the immeasurable potential of all that was, all that is, all that will be. What we see as everyday reality right now, including our own body, is a projection of the conditioned mind. Beyond the conditioned mind is pure potentiality or pure consciousness or pure knowing. Every child is born with that. There's a saying in India, every child that is born is proof that the infinite has not yet given up on humans.
That is a beautiful thought. What do you think is the most important thing that someone will learn from reading this book?
I think the most important thing that people will discover, hopefully, is that their range of insight, intuition, creativity, higher vision, healing, transcendence, loss of the fear of death, the capacity to love, have compassion, joy, equanimity, peace of mind, is innate. It's there in every human being. And they start with that. It's a journey from here to here, as they say. In T.S. Eliot's words, we shall not cease from exploration, and the end of our exploring is to arrive where we started from and know the place for the first time.
So this is truly a transformational book, not only for an individual, but for society and the world as well.
I hope so.
In the book you said, when you exist as a metahuman, you exist at the timeless source of the self. And I'm curious, do you think that that is similar to what most people would think of as spirit or spirituality?
Yes, the spirit or spirituality or the soul would be correct for metahuman. Can you live from the level of the self instead of the selfie? You know, there's a saying in religious literature, what good does it do a man to gain the whole world but lose his soul? So we have sacrificed our self for our selfie. Everybody's selfie is competing with each other at the moment. And That's our ego encapsulated personality, which is basically what everybody else thinks of you, not what you know yourself to be. The difference between self-image and self-esteem.
So you really are looking at the greatest, grandest ideas within this book.
Yeah, grandest ideas and the deeper understanding that there is no such thing as a physical world, and that there's no such thing even as a physical body. The physical material world and the changing physical body are actually human concepts or human constructs based on human modes of knowing and experience. Metahuman doesn't identify with the human mode of knowing and experience, but goes to the source of all knowing and experience. So as we go deeper, the Beatles song, the deeper you go, the higher you fly. As you go deeper and deeper into your own self, you discover that the self of the individual is the self of the universe.
So in this realm of meta-reality, you are able to access infinite creativity?
Infinite creativity, insight, intuition, vision, imagination, transcendence, flow, timeless being.
Well, as I mentioned earlier,
that which we call I am.
Yes.
Before I am Deepak, or before I am Richard, or before I am anything. You know, when Moses asked the burning bush, he asked God, "What's your name?" God says, "I am that I am." In the New Testament, Jesus says, "Before Abraham was, I am." Because Abraham is a process, is a person. You're not a person. You're the being or the awareness in which the person is a process. If you think of yourself as a person, then you'll see people everywhere. But if you understand your infinite being, you'll see the divine everywhere.
Well, we are the home of spiritual artistry here, and we believe that artistic expression is a spiritual journey.
Yes.
Many people know that you're a great speaker and that you are a great writer. What many of them don't know is that you're also quite accomplished musically. And I was wondering, would you consider yourself a spiritual artist?
I think so. I think, yeah. Spiritual artistry leading ultimately to spiritual alchemy.
Spiritual alchemy, that's an interesting phrase. Could you talk about that?
Alchemy is the ability to take the raw material of experience, which is sensations. We experience sensations, perceptions, images, feelings, and thoughts. Mix them up and create whatever you want. Just like white light has infinite shades of color that can lead to infinite paintings, your being is infinite and can lead to infinite realities, or what we call experiences. Because everyday experience is not reality. Mm-hmm. Everyday experience is a narrow band of perceptual activity within an infinite reality.
So infinity really is accessible.
Infinity is fundamental. Infinity expresses itself as finite experiences. And the finite experiences cannot be compromising their source. So infinity cannot be compromised by any finite experience, cannot be bound by any experience, and cannot be localized by any experience. Like a wave cannot compromise the ocean. The ocean is always the mighty ocean, even though it expresses itself as a finite wave. Rumi, the great poet, said, "You're not just a drop in the ocean, you're also the ocean in the drop." So it's just a shift in perception from knowing to the source of all knowing.
So you talk about the direct path in your book to this source of all knowing. Mm-hmm. And would you say that it is just a shift in perception that is necessary and not the long and arduous journeys that so many other
Yeah, the
paths
direct
have
path
directed.
says that you can know reality right now. Instead of giving constructs to experience, if you have direct experience of anything, if I have direct experience of this theater, I see colors and forms. Visually, that's all I see. Colors, shapes, and forms. Colors, shapes, and forms create this experience that we're seeing. Okay, and that's true of any of our senses. Direct experience, when you have direct experience, you see that the raw material of experience, which is sensations, perceptions, images, feelings, and thoughts, actually has no existence in the physical world. The raw material of existence has no geographical, physical location in space-time. And the container of experience also is not made of anything that is a physical or subtle form of matter. In fact, there is no such thing as matter. So how do we experience space, this theater of space-time and causality? Well, we created it through human constructs. And if you go beyond these constructs, you deconstruct, then you reconstruct anything you want.
So what do you think is the most valuable and practical application of moving into meta-reality?
Number one, infinite possibilities for creativity and evolution. Number two, the emergence of Platonic truth, goodness, beauty, love, compassion, joy, equanimity, harmony. And number three, the loss of the fear of death. Because death happens to an experience, not to you.
How powerful is that? That's truly
It's
amazing.
our birthright.
Well, science and spirituality have always been common themes in your work going forward. Do you feel that this book and the idea of the metahuman continues on that theme?
Science and spirituality have been common themes, but we must understand that science is a system of thought. The earlier systems of thought were mythology, then cultural mythology, then religion, then theology, then philosophy, then science. What I'm saying in this book is no system of thought can give you access to reality. You have to go to the source of thought. So whilst science is a useful human adventure, giving rise to the great technologies of our time, science does not give us access to fundamental truth or reality. Just ask yourself, what came first? Consciousness or science? Science is an activity in consciousness. Even the activity of doing science is in your spirit, in your consciousness. Experiments are conceived in consciousness, observations are made in consciousness. Theories are conceived in consciousness too, including theories about consciousness. So any theory about consciousness, any scientific understanding of consciousness is inferential, it's not direct. You look at the brain, you look at genes, epigenetics, the body, etc. That's all inferential knowledge of fundamental reality. Science cannot give you direct knowledge of reality. Only the transcendence of thought can give you direct knowledge of reality.
Do you believe that as science progresses, specifically our understanding of quantum physics and quantum reality, that it will fundamentally shift our comprehension and understanding of awareness and consciousness?
It will shift. Quantum reality is the most fundamental reality as far as humans can understand it, but it's still a model. Okay? It's not the truth. Quantum is another model. You have to say, what is it that creates models? What is it that wants to know knowing? You know, that's our most fundamental activity, is knowing. And who do we know? We know ourselves as this experience. So unless we know the nature of knowing, we will not understand reality. Quantum reality is one mode of knowing. It's not what knowing is. knowing. Who is it? What is it that knows? Or what is it that wants to know knowing? The humans, have asked this question forever. Who am I? But they need to go a step further. What is it that wants to know who am I? If we grasp this and embrace this as a culture and a society, and we have a critical mass of people who do understand this, then we can hope for a more peaceful, just, sustainable, healthier, and joyful world.
That would be a beautiful thing to see.
Yes.
It's been suggested that the evolution of the metahuman is essential for our survival as a species.
Right now, we are at a crossroads. We can go the way of extinction, or we can take the leap to metahuman and create paradise right here, right now.
And what do you think will make that decision?
I don't know. I mean, this is very interesting. If the human species disappeared, what would it do to nature? Biologists tell us that if insects disappeared from our planet, all life would stop in 5 years. They also tell us that if humans disappeared from our planet, then all life would flourish in 5 years. So what is good for the universe? That only the universe can decide what is good for the universe. It may decide that the human species was a very interesting experiment that didn't work. I hope not.
So again, it comes back to being all a matter of perspective.
As a matter of perspective, I would say, with the words of Rumi, exchange your cleverness for bewilderment. If you're not bewildered by your own existence, then your humanity isn't complete.
So you feel there is hope for the future?
I think we have to be independent of both hope and despair, because hope means despair, despair needs hope. You have to be grounded in the field of metahuman, be independent of both in order to unleash your infinite creative potential.
Deepak, thank you so much for joining us here today. It's been a real pleasure to speak with you. The book will be launching here at the United Palace of Spiritual Arts the evening of Wednesday, October the 2nd. All of the information will be available on our website, unitedpalace.org. The evening will include an introduction by Dr. Jean Houston, a presentation by Dr. Deepak Chopra, and of course, an opportunity to acquire the book. When you purchase your tickets online, you will also receive some special bonus material. That will include an exclusive Metahuman meditation, a clip from the Metahuman audiobook, videos of Deepak Chopra discussing Metahuman, and a sneak peek at the Metahuman excerpt booklet. Tickets for the evening will cost $49, and that will include a copy of the book. If you're interested in meeting Dr. Chopra personally, there will be a small meet and greet prior to the event. The tickets for that will be $149. They will also include the presentation and a copy of the book as well. The availability for this event is extremely limited, so if you are interested in attending, please buy your tickets now. We will look forward to seeing you here at the United Palace again Wednesday, October 2nd, where we will be having the world premiere launch of Deepak Chopra's latest book, Metahuman, Unleashing Your Infinite Potential. Millions of people are going to read this book and embrace these ideas and create this beautiful future that you have painted for us. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us and speak to us today. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.